Respected audience, I am R.M. Shanmugam. I am given this opportunity by Karakudi Kamban Kazhagam to deliver to you in English about Balakandam. Balakandam is one of the first kandam of 6 kandam in which Kambar has woven this Kamba Ramayana. So far, the people were given opportunity to know about Kamban in Tamil. So for each chapter, they selected one professor to give a discourse about the merit of this chapter. So now, to wind up this, the Kazhagam has started to give in English discourse, one discourse for one kandam for 6 kandam. So this may be, I think that though it is meant for the people who are not well versed in literary Tamil and also those who have not pursued Tamil medium school and also those who are not knowing Tamil, and that means non-Tamil people. So they also must know the merit of Kamba Ramayana. So for that purpose, they have made like this, I suppose. This is also a great achievement for them. Even now, most of the people, they know better if they read it in English rather than it in Tamil. So in that way also it can be helpful. And I have been chosen to give this lecture. Even though I am not a scholar in Tamil, I am not a scholar in English, my profession was not teaching. In spite of that, they selected me to give this. For that, I must bow my thanks to Mr. M. Palniyappan, professor, who is behind this everything that is going on. He knows that I am a poet. I have poetic sense. So that is why he selected me to give this. I will try to justify his selection. If there is anything, please bear with me. So now I proceed on Ramayana. Kambar has written this Ramayana about 12th century, people say, some people say 9th century. So 12th century means that is a peak of Chola kingdom. After Rajaraja Solan, Rajendra Solan, then this peak period. It might be correct, I think so. So Kambar wrote this Ramayana on the basis of Ramayana written by Valmiki in Sanskrit. Valmiki's period is judged 1 or 2 centuries before Jesus Christ's birth. So that means Kambar has written this Ramayana around more than 1000 years after Valmiki has written Ramayana. Here, Kambar's advantage is that civilization of 1000 years advanced civilization has come to handy to Kambar. So during that Valmiki time, Valmiki wanted to write this Kamba Ramayana to make Rama as Uttama Purush, a virtuous man. He wanted to create a character pure virtuous so that it can be a model for the generation to come. So by that way he wrote everything. At that time this idol worship also was not in being. Only these natures were worshipping. So that also might be the reason that why Valmiki has not made Rama as a incarnation. And Kambar, he made it Rama as incarnation. For that also there might be reason. Because in Tamil Nadu, the Sangam, during Jesus Christ's birth period is Sangam period. About 2 centuries below, hereafter it may be varying. So those times there is no idol worship, there is no personal God. Personal God worship was not there. After that, this Jain and Buddha, that religions spread in Tamil Nadu. At that time, only ethics were given importance. So most of the our Sangam, post-Sangam literatures about ethics. That is why Tirukkural was born, Naladiyar was born, so many other creatures born. So later, during 6th century onwards, this idol, the personal god worship and Bhakti Marg, devotional spirits started. And Nayanmar and Alvars, all these people were responsible for the spread. So it is spreading after from 6th century onwards up to 12th century. So Rama, unless this Rama is also made a god, the people may not get appeal of this Ramayana. That might be the reason that why Kambar made this as incarnation of Thirumal. So Rama, he says that Vishnu has come down as Rama and his consort Lakshmi has come down as Sita. By that way only everywhere he is telling that, and he is reminding us that they are only God here, they are only God on the earth. They are God on the earth, always he is telling. So with this way he is coming down, and he has made this Kamba Ramayana in 6 kanda, whereas Valmiki made it in 5, and more than 10,000 poems he has written for this. So the first kanda is given Palakanda. So here it covers the birth of Rama and till his marriage. This is the first kanda. It is made in 22 chapters, and each chapters by chapter that salient features let me narrate. The first chapter is the river. So generally river is nothing to do with the story. Even then he has taken river because water is important for life. Without water life cannot exist. So for a land and for the people, for their prosperity, without water it cannot be done. Here Sarai river is taken. So Ayodhya was Sarai river is running along the Ayodhya. That is his merit. So here first chapter he speaks about river. Here in 20 stanzas he is telling about river. Here main point here is that he compare river as fate. The fate has a might that it can make hill into valley and valley into hill, a rich into poor, poor into rich. The same way this river also is making like that. The pasture land into ploughing land, hills into valley, and this saline land into fertile land. By that way, just like such like a fate, this river is making the land of Kosala. So next chapter he comes about land. Land, here land means Kosala kingdom, Ayodhya and the surrounding place. Here also he is giving about the rich vegetation and richness of the people. So without vegetation being rich, people cannot be rich. So he insists about that. Here he says that how they are rich is that no one is generous. No one generous because no one is needy. So that one word is enough that how prosperous they were. Their communism was prevailing. There is no richness, there is nobody is rich, nobody is poor, all equal. So by that way he speaks like that. Then he tells about the city. So here land means he knows land about Kaveri belt. So the Kaveri belt must be the source of attraction for him to write about the land. The same way Ganges, this Kaveri river must be the inspiration for him to write about Sarayu river. And Marudam land only he is talking, that out of the 5 lands, about field and field aligned place, that only he speaks in length here, and that also only the Kaveri delta should be the inspiration for him. So next he speaks about the city. The city here he speaks about Ayodhya. In this Ayodhya, he says that there were no gods because there were no thieves. Here also he says that justice, nobody is to lie. So justice is prevail everywhere. The people's peace is the prosperity of the people. So here peace prevails because nobody tells lies, and nobody is stealing also, because there is no thieves, there is no gods. So by that way he tells like that. Then he came about this birth of Rama, divine. Then about he tells about the king. Here king, he speaks about Dasaratha. Only 20 stanzas he speaks, and he tells that Dasaratha was like mother, and he is a man of penance, and he is a man of wisdom, and he is a man of rightness. And further he says that Dasaratha has no enemies on the earth, no foes on the earth. So that gives that how prosperous Dasaratha was, and how justifying rule he was doing that. So next he said that the divine descent, Avadara Padalam. So Avadara Padalam, here only, this is a very lengthy Padalam, 138 verses is taken to describe that. Here he speaks about the birth of Rama. So everybody knows that Dasaratha was full prosperous, and everything is full except one drawback for him, that is he has no issue, he has no heirs. This is the first happening after 60 generations. So the Vasishtha is the sage assigned to the Dasaratha kingdom. So as per his advice, one sacrificial ceremony is conducted, and there one sacred food is presented. That sacred food is given to the 3 wives of Dasaratha, and after that they conceiving. So how it is proportioned means, first they gave to first wife Kausalya, the second portion of the sacred food was given to second wife Kaikeyi, and the third portion and with the remaining portion together it was given to Sumatra. Thus they got 4 children. The first is Rama, he was born to Kausalya. The second was to Kaikeyi, and the third and fourth, second Bharadan was Kaikeyi, and the third and fourth, Lakshmanan and Shatrughan, they were born to Sumatra. So then after that he says that about how they were grown up and under whose teaching. The Vasishtha has taken the charge, and he was giving for them learning in sports and wisdom, everything in valor, and in this bow and everything he was given. By that way they have grown up into adolescent stage. So with that end comes. Next, this is now handing over chapter. That means Kaiyadai Padalam. So here only the dramatic change is coming. So here first sage Viswamitra is visiting Dasaratha. Sage Viswamitra in the legends, he is projected like a man of rage, man of short temper, and man of overpower, mighty power. So by that way the impression about Viswamitra visiting the kingdom of Kosala and meeting Dasaratha. For what purpose he has come, Dasaratha didn't know. But when he saw Viswamitra, he was happy. He was in the ocean of pleasure. In the course of their dialogue, Viswamitra wanted Dasaratha's son, first son Raman, to come with him to the forest to kill the demon Rakshashi. So hearing that, it just like it was piercing his heart. So now he immersed in the ocean of sorrow. When he saw Viswamitra, he was in the ocean of pleasure. When he heard this word from his mouth, he was in the sorrow, in the ocean of sorrow. He says that he lost a blind, getting eye, and losing it. The same things he felt, he says that. So he volunteered that in place of Rama, who is a small boy, I will come do that duty, he says. But Vishwamitra was not happy. He became shy. That means unhappiness ruled in his mind, which Vasishtha understood. Immediately he came to rescue. He advised Dasharatha to send Rama and Lakshmana to him so that they can learn more, and whatever they learn they can put into practice. By that way, as per Vasishtha advice, Dasharatha sent Rama only Vishwamitra wanted only Rama, but Dasharatha sent Lakshmana also along with Rama. So with that, the Kaiyari Padalam is over. The next, this Vishwamitra taking these two princes to the forest. When they were going on the forest, he shows that one desert land, arid land. There, in spite of rainforest, everything around, those place was completely barren, without any vegetation, without any animals. So Rama asked why it happened. Then he said that the evil of Tataka Rakshashi, that is demoness. So Vishwamitra says that this is because of that one Rakshashi. She doesn't allow anything to come up. Any vegetation, any animal, any come, she will eat. That is why it is kept barren, and that is why it is so hot. Then in order not to wilt these two young princes, Vishwamitra gave two mantras so that they can withstand that heat. He said that the sun is sucking water from the soil, so to that even fire will not stand against this heat. We say that. So after crossing that, they come to the place where this Tataka is ruling. There, then Kambar describes that Tataka, how evil he is, how huge figure she is, like cloud, like Meru mountain, and there is a fight between these two. First, the Tataka came here, and she was about to devour Rama and Lakshmana as food, as she was doing all the things. At that time, he has to kill her, otherwise he will be devoured. So as per Vishwamitra's bidding, he has to kill. In spite of that, he hesitated because she was a woman. A woman should not be killed in a war by man. So that hesitation was understood by Vishwamitra. Then he told some narration how women can be killed when they are evil. So here he says that this Tataka is capable of making man unman. To that extent, she is not feminine, she is man. So it is justifiable to kill her. So by that way, then only he started fighting with her, and sometimes she poured so many stones. All the stones were thwarted by his arrows. At last he killed Tataka, and she fell like a dark cloud from the sky. So by that way it is over, and the impediment to the penance for Vishwamitra is over, and Vishwamitra was happy, and Rama was happy that he has done something for the Guru. Then next Padalam goes that Yaga Padalam. And after this, during this Yaga, Vishwamitra tells a story about Mahabali and Vamana. This story, what I think that why he is introduced, in order to insist about giving. So here Mahabali, all you know the story. Mahabali was very proud that he can give anything, anybody, whatever he wants. By that way he declared, and he want to be annihilated, that is the wish of the Devas. So Thirumal, that means Vishnu, came incarnation of dark man, Vamanan. So he went and asked 3 feet earth, and his foot was so small, and 3 feet is nothing for Vaman. Immediately granted, he told. At the time he was dissuaded not to do, it was a trick by his advisors. Even then he didn't listen their advice. He said that to give is great, to get is low. So even if a man is evil, even the deed is trick. If we have, and what we have, if it is asked, it should be given. So this giving things in order to insist, I think because Kambar has brought this incident, and they told Rama about this bestowing tendency. How virtuous is bestowing tendency. So it is known, it is made known to Rama. So after that, the yoga is over. Then he was actually their purpose, Rama's purpose, is to remove the impediment for Vishwamitra to continue his penance. So that is over. So now they have to return to Ayodhya. But Vishwamitra had another plan. They took them to Mithila, that means whose king is Janaka. So the next padalam, Akaliga Padalam. So here, at the outskirts of the Mithila, when they come here, there was a stone in the form of woman. So Rama and Lakshmana and Vishwamitra, they were walking down. The dust of the feet from the Rama's feet falls on the stone. Immediately she became a woman. Then Vishwamitra introduced it as Agaliga, wife of sage Kaudam. And that story also she told that Vishwamitra tells how it happened because of his infidelity. And Kaudam became raged and he put a curse. As per the curse, she became stone. Then she requested how we can be redeemed. Then she said that when Rama's foot comes there, she can come out. In Valmiki, it is said that Rama's foot on the stone, then she became a woman. But here Kamban said that Rama's foot should not put on a woman. So he said that his dust of the foot fell upon the woman. So throughout Kambar Ramayana, according to Tamil tradition, he was maintaining and he is making deviation from Valmiki Ramayana. So after Agalya things over, by the time he says that in the previous chapter, because of his hands things, he killed Tadigi. So it is so he killed. Here he gave life by his foot. So by his hand he killed the evil, and by his foot he redeemed for the people. So here he emphasized about forgiving tendency. In this padalam he introduced the people should forgive. So that is the important things. There, the Velmi Padalam, he says that we should give to the people. Here he says that we should forgive. So after that, then they are approaching to Mithila, and in Mithila also this Rama, Lakshmana, Vishwamitra, they are walking down the Mithila streets. At that time, there happened to be a mansion. In that mansion, Sita and with her friends, they are there, and these people are walking down on the street. Incidentally, she happened to see Rama, and incidentally Rama happened to see Sita. So here he says that the first sight, love at first sight. Shakespeare will insist about love at first sight in As You Like It. The same way here, love at first sight he emphasizes. So because they fell in love, then they are getting married. It is not arranged marriage, this is love marriage, Ramayana. So to insist that, first they introduce the scene that they see each other without knowing who they are. If we love another person, knowing who you are, it is not love. So without knowing love, whether he is who is he doesn't know, and also he also doesn't know that who Sita is. So by that way they love each other. And here sexology he speaks. Generally man is known, man is handsome, man is known by his shoulder. Woman is known by her chest. So a man, when he sees a woman, his eyes will fall upon the chest of woman, whereas eyes of the woman will fall on the shoulder of a man. This is a sexual psychology. The same thing he employs here. The first sight when we see that Rama sights falls on the chest of the Sita, Sita sights falls on the shoulder. So then after that, they all the same day, they after seeing there, she also started love sickness, and Sita also fell in love sickness. In so many words, in so many romantic verses, Kaman was describes about how she was pining of Rama and how Rama was pining of Sita. Then next padalam is that this also another dramatic turn. That means one the Shiva bows breaking. So here actually this Valmiki's purpose of taking these two children, though marriage, it was told to them that here one sacrificial ceremony Janaka is going to do. So to witness that we are going by that we came. But he has some motivation. That means this Janaka was having a Shiva's bow, a mighty bow, and whoever who tried this mighty bow and do that, then only she can get Janaki, Sita. So that is why no, so many kings they tried for their luck, they could not succeed. So now this Vishwamitra wants Rama to try it. So that wishes expressed to Janaka. Janaka also was very much pleased, and also he wanted that this bow should be broken by Rama, and everybody wish was like that. Then it was ordered to be brought. The how big it is there, this Kambar says that it has been brought by elephant-like people numbering 60,000. So such like big bow to indicate to our impression, he says like that it is brought there, and everybody wants that he should be taken and by the Rama, and all even Janaka, everybody wants like that. So he rose to lift the things. Then how he rose means with full confidence he rose from his seat. That is how the flame flies up if he pour ghee. By that way he rose and he took the bow. That also he saw that first he says that how mighty that bow was. Now he says that he took it as if he took garland with which to bed Sita. So by that way, and the people all with unwinking seeing that how he is going to do. They saw that there his Rama's toes on the bow. Then that sting is taking. After that, they saw the lifting the bow. Immediately they saw the sound of the crash. So by that way, very easily he did this character. Then after that, the words was given to the next padalam. Next four or five padalams, he says that only Dasaratha and troops coming from Ayodhya to Mithila. So there, the first chapter, he says that the one ambassador from Mithila he is sent as per Vishwamitra's advice to bring Dasaratha and his troops for conducting marriage. So all these five padalams, he says that about the people, how they were merry-making, and how they indulged in the compact of love. All these things they are telling that. Then they are reaching. So when they are reaching there, Janaka goes and receive them. And here he compares that this Dasaratha as son, the sun, and Janaka as the moon. And actually, because he belongs to solar dynasty, and Janaka belongs to lunar dynasty, also it can be done. Otherwise also, among the two grades, this Rama's father is greater than Sita's father. That also might have been things. So always the sun is, the moon depends upon sun, Sita depends upon Rama. All these things might have worked in his mind when he compared these two. Then after that, then this marriage ceremonies is coming down. So in the marriage, before marriage, this Rama is taken in procession, and woman Sita is given in decoration. In the two chapters, two chapters in Kambar describing. So when the Rama is going there, very mostly all the women they want to go and see at the glimpse of Rama. So they when they go there, their hair, their dress lock, they are untied and their dresses are loosening, their hip belt are loosening. That also they are not minding. Their attention was only to have a glimpse of Rama. Such a way they were all going. He says that, and that Sita, and he describes each and every she was ornamented and decorated, and everything she is doing. Here, first itself, Kamban says that honey cannot be sweetened, and already it's sweet. The same way, Sita cannot be beautified because already she is beauty. In spite of that, these people are fools. They are doing like that. He was saying. So after everything comes, then marriage is done. So here, marriage means yeah, that Mangalya Sutra is not used. Now in Tamil Nadu, all the things are coming there, but during Kambar period, you should not have been in wanton use, I think. So he has not mentioned anything. Simply, Janaka is giving Sita to Rama, her palm hand over to the hand of Rama, and by pouring water. Then after that, they make round the sacrificial fire, and all mantras are told. So by that way, marriage is over. Then the last padalam, the last chapter is that Parasurama. So here this Parasurama, further to augment Rama, his Parasurama is reduced. So Parasurama with axis is the Dasarada and all these people after marriage, few days after marriage, they were about to return from Mithila to Ayodhya. In that case, on the way, they get some bad woman. So then they got advice that the bad woman will be over soon. So they proceeded. When they proceeding, the Dasarada saw Parasurama coming. This Parasurama was so much rage with Kshatrika, and about 21 generations already he killed. So whenever he saw any Kshatrika, he will kill them. So now the Dasarada and Rama, they are Kshatrika, they are coming. This Parasurama has seen. Definitely Dasarada thought that they will be killed once for all. He came with rage, Dasarada pleaded, and after that there was a battle, there was a duel between Rama and Parasuram. Parasuram told that you broke the bow that belongs to Shiva because it was old. Now if you are a man of valor, you take this Vishnu bow, you do your might. And then immediately he took the bow and he put that arrow. Then he told that I have done that. So there should be some target. So I cannot kill you because you are sage, you are doing tapas, penance, everything. Even though you have done so many things, I do not want to kill you. Give me some other target for me to attempt. Then Parasurama told that, so all my penance, whatever, then all the fruits that you kill. So they killed. So then he came Kodandaraman. Kodandam he is given, became Kodandaraman. So with this Balakandam ends. After that, Ayodhya is to begin. So all this opportunity was given, and whatever I have come to my mind that I have told you, it may appeal or it may be in agreement or not agreement with the scholars. If anything I may be forgiven. So what I felt, I told. Thank you very much. One more.